Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to learn how to solve quadratic simultaneous equations. We've got three success criteria, and the first one is to solve quadratic equations by factorising. So here we've got a quadratic equation and we want to solve it by factorising. This means we need to find out what x is. So we first of all factorise the expression. So we do this by timesing 2 and 10 together, which is 20, and thinking about which two numbers will times together to make 20, but add together to make 12. The numbers that time together to make 20 are 1 times 20, 2 times 10, and 4 times 5. Now I just need to think which of these pairs add together to make 12, and that's 2 and 10. So I can rewrite the expression as 2x squared plus 2x plus 10x plus 10. So I've just separated out the 12x into 2x and 10x. If I then split the expression in half and factorise both halves, so I can have 2x on the outside of the bracket in that half, and I can have 10 on the outside of the bracket in that half. So one of my brackets is going to be 2x plus 10, and my second bracket is going to be x plus 1. So now I've factorised it into two brackets. Now to be able to solve it, I make each bracket equal 0. So 2x plus 10 equals 0, or x plus 1 equals 0. When 2x plus 10 equals 0, I can solve it by taking 10 off both sides, and then dividing both sides by 2. So x equals minus 5. The second equation, I can solve it by taking 1 off both sides, so x equals minus 1. So my two answers are x equals minus 5 or x equals minus 1. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, there's your amber answers, there's your red answers, and there's your purple answer. So now I've completed success criteria 1. So now I'm going to move on to number 2, and this is to solve linear simultaneous equations. Simultaneous means that two things are happening at the same time. So when I have a pair of simultaneous equations, like this, that means both the x's represent the same number and both the y's represent the same number. The letters are known as unknowns. What it equals are known as solutions, and the numbers in front of a letter are known as the coefficients. So to solve a simultaneous equation, I need to eliminate one of the letters. So I do this by looking at which letters have the same coefficient, and I either subtract them or add them together, whichever gets rid of them. So in this case, I would subtract one equation from the other. So that would give me 4x equals 6. If the signs are different, then we add the equations together. But if the signs are the same, then we would subtract the equations. So here's an example. We want to solve these two equations simultaneously. So I can label them 1 and 2. And I always want to try and make the second letter the same. So I'm going to try and make the y's the same. So I do that by timesing the first equation by 3. So it becomes this. And I times the second equation by 2. So it becomes this. So now I've got a 6y and a minus 6y. Because the signs in front of the 6 are different, this means I add the equations together. So 18x plus 8x is 26x. 6y plus minus 6y is nothing. They cancel each other out. And minus 9 plus 22 is 13. So now I've eliminated the y's, so I can now solve it by dividing both sides by 26. So x equals a half. I can then find out what y is by substituting x into the first equation. So x I know is a half. So 6 times a half plus 2y equals minus 3. 6 times a half is 3. I can now solve it by taking 3 off both sides. So 2y equals minus 6. And then I divide both sides by 2. So y is minus 3. So I've worked out that x equals a half and y equals minus 3. I can check this by substituting x and y into the second equation. So 4x minus 3y equals 11 becomes 4 times a half, take away 3 times minus 3 equals 11. So that becomes 2 plus 9 equals 11. So it works. So I know I've got it right. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So in this question, I want to solve these equations simultaneously. So I need to make the y's have the same number in front of them. So I times the first equation by 2 and the second equation by 5. So now they've both got a 10 in front of the y's. Because the signs in front of 10 are the same, this means I subtract the equations. So 6x take away 5x is 1x. Minus 10y take away minus 10y is nothing. And 10 take away 5 is 5. So I've worked out that x equals 5. Then I can substitute that answer into the first equation. So 3x minus 5y equals 5 becomes 3 times 5 minus 5y equals 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Now I can solve it by taking 15 off both sides. And then I can divide both sides by minus 5. So y equals 2. So my answer is x equals 5 and y equals 2. Again, I can check I've got this right by substituting both answers into the second equation. So x minus 2y equals 1 becomes 5 minus 2 times 2 equals 1, which it does. So I know I've got it right. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, there's your amber answers, there's your red answers, and there's your purple answer. And now we've completed success criteria 2. So now we're going to move on to number 3, and this is to solve simultaneous equations when one is a quadratic. So I want to solve these pair of equations simultaneously. So if both equations equal y, we can say both equations are equal to each other. So if they both equal y, that means that x squared minus 3 must equal 2x plus 5. So now I can solve it like I would any other equation. First of all, get it to equal 0. I can take 2x and minus 5 off both sides. So I get x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. And I solve this quadratic by first of all factorising it into two brackets. And then those two brackets must both equal 0. So in the first equation, if I take 2 off both sides, x equals minus 2. And in the second equation, I add 4 to both sides, so x equals 4. So because I've got two answers for x, I'm going to need two answers for y as well. So I can substitute both values of x into the second equation. So y equals 2x plus 5. So when x equals minus 2, y will equal 1. And when x equals 4, y will equal 13. So this means my answers are x equals minus 2 and y equals 1, or x equals 4 and y equals 13. I can check this by substituting both answers into the first equation. So first of all, if x equals minus 2 and y equals 1, I substitute those into the first equation. Minus 2 squared is 4, and 4 take away 3 is 1. So I've got that one right. And I can do the same for my second pair of solutions. So 4 squared is 16, and 16 take away 3 is 13. So I've got that one right as well. This time, I want to solve these equations simultaneously, but this time they both don't equal y. So if one of the equations equals y, I can substitute it into the other equation. So if y equals x plus 2, I can replace the y in the first equation with x plus 2. So first of all, I expand the brackets. So x plus 2 squared is x squared plus 4x plus 4. I then simplify and get it to equal 0 by taking 4 off both sides. I can then factorise it with 2x on the outside, which means 2x equals 0 or x plus 2 equals 0. So if 2x equals 0, x will equal 0. And if x plus 2 equals 0, x will equal minus 2. So now I need to work out the y solutions. So I'm going to substitute them into the second equation. so y equals x plus 2. So if x is 0, y equals 0 plus 2, so y will be 2. And if x equals minus 2, y will equal minus 2 plus 2, so y equals 0. So my final answer is x equals 0 and y equals 2, or x equals minus 2 and y equals 0. I can check this by substituting both solutions into the first equation. So if x equals 0 and y equals 2, 0 plus 4 is 4, so I've got that one right. And if x equals minus 2 and y equals 0, 4 plus 0 is 4, so I've got that one right as well. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, there's your amber answers, and there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 3. So now that we've completed the last objective, it's time to end the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it useful. Make sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to check out the videos on the rest of the channel. I'll see you next time. See ya.